Welcome to the Great African Messenger channel. In today's topic, we will discuss the story of the AHANTA'S and the Portuguese. The Portuguese were the first Europeans to arrive in Gold Coast in 1471 and built their permanent trading post at Elmina in 1482. In 1515, they built Fort St. Anthony at Axim, and in 1626, they built Fort Sebastian at Shama. The Portuguese have quickly expanded their trading activities across Ahanta from Shama to Axim, covering almost the total land area of the Ahanta Kingdom. The Dutch, led by Barent Eriks, arrived in 1591, and by 1598, other Dutch traders had also arrived in Gold Coast and started to pose stiff opposition to the Portuguese. Through the efforts of General Jacob Clantius, the Dutch secured a permission to build Fort Nassau near Mori through the Asabu Treaty. In the preceding years, the Dutch constantly battled the Portuguese to drive them out of Gold Coast in order to gain control over the trade, which eventually turned out to be a slave trade. In 1637, the Dutch captured Elmina Castle, Fort Sebastian at Shama in 1640, and in 1642 they had captured Fort Antonio in Axim. Aside seizing forts and castles of the Portuguese, the Dutch built Fort Orange in Secondi in 1642 and Fort Battenstein in Butry in 1656. By 1717, they have succeeded in driving the Portuguese away and gained control over the trade, particularly in Ahanta areas. Ahanta became the main trading grounds for the Dutch in Gold Coast. Point of correction, Dutch were not trading with chiefs, however the Omenheen, other word king, on their arrival on the Gold Coast. On 27 August 1656, the Butry Treaty was signed between the Ahanta kings and the Dutch, which made Ahanta a protectorate of the Dutch from the attacks of other European nations who had interest in the ongoing slave trade. A pact which lasted for 213 years until 1871, when the Dutch left the Gold Coast and the British took over. It was the longest pact between a European nation and an African state. This pact became the basis for the annihilation and desolation of Ahanta, as expedient forces marshaled by the Dutch marched on Ahanta on 30th of June 1838, led by Major General John Verveer from the Royal Netherlands Army. Major Ahanta towns like Takoradi and Busua were massacred. The British exterminated all royalties, and anyone connected a large military presence was maintained in Ahanta. Asante alone offered 30,000 troops, though the Dutch turned down his offer and believed it to be a ploy for the Ashantis to gain direct trading access with the Europeans at the coast. But why? Why did the Asante choose to align with the Dutch instead of supporting the Ahanta, despite their shared regional ties? Why did he not see the pressing need to help his neighboring people, or at the very least, stand in solidarity with them? Instead, he chose to go against them, forging an alliance with the Dutch, an action that has left many questioning his motivations. Why prioritize foreign interests over the welfare of his own people and those close to him? The decision still lingers in the minds of many, sparking debates and reflection on the complexities of leadership, loyalty, and power. To this day, the reasons behind his choices remain unclear, and the question continues to echo through history. Due to the betrayal of the Asante in the course of war, Badu Bonso II was captured. On 27 July 1838, he was hanged, after which his head was removed and sent to Netherlands, where it got lost for more than a century. It was later rediscovered at Leiden University Medical Center by one Arthur Japan, who was conducting research and had earlier on read about this great Ahanta king, who stood against foreign invasion and interferences. The head had been stored in a jar of formaldehyde for about 170 years. In 2005, after a brief ceremony was conducted in Hague, the head was returned to Ghana, previously known as the Gold Coast, where it was originally taken away by the Dutch. In 1871, the Dutch government sold all their colonial possessions in West Africa to the British Empire as per the terms of the Anglo-Dutch treaties of 1870 to 1871. The British took over from the Dutch until 1957, when Gold Coast became independent. Thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this.